All right, hello everyone, and welcome now, day number 33, reading the 40 chapters of Exodus across the 40 days of Lent. Now we are starting in the final 20% of Exodus, picking up chapter number 33. Admittedly, I am very late on this Friday, and for those of you who that matters to, thank you for your patience. Where we left off, the whole golden calf situation, that was quite an awkward disruption of the momentum and trajectory of the collective. It seems like at one point, because of Moses, God is ready to move on. And then when we get into chapter number 33, there's still some tension from this. To all of a sudden look at how everything that God has done for the Hebrews, who were largely helpless, controlled by Pharaoh, and here comes God liberating them, trying to demonstrate himself to be the antithesis of Pharaoh, who would not let the people have a 3-day vacation. Here God is going to command that there's going to be a 1-day vacation out of every single week. God's trying to show the generosity, as we discussed throughout the various legal components that we have encountered. And then the people, in what seems to be such a very quick and fickle way, they start building a calf, an imitation, when they have the real thing. And so here in chapter number 33, the first section, God says, look, I'm going to send you and the people, talking to Moses, to all the lands that I told you. There's going to be opponents in the way, but I'm going to drive out the opponents. The land is going to be flowing with milk and honey, but I'm not going to go among you. You're quite a stubborn people, so I'm not going to be there with you. In fact, because you might get in my way, and I might destroy you along the way. And so the entire community hears this troubling word, verse number 4, and they mourn, and nobody put on their ornaments. Because Moses had told them the story, and that they strip off their ornaments. It's a sign of surrender. It's a sign of sacrifice. And so what is it going to mean that God is not going to go with them? Well, in verse number 7, Moses takes the tent, this tabernacle that, as you know, was discussed in such great detail. The most critical component of the book of Exodus at this point, the labor of attention from the time they have left Egypt, has been absorbed by this tabernacle. But it's not going to sit there among the people. It's going to go outside of the camp and be outside of the camp. It's going to exile itself, it seems, or really exile the people from it. What have we said about the tabernacle? It's the portal, the meeting place of the heavens and earth where God dwells. What have we discussed it in reference to? Creation in Genesis 1 and 2. I've mentioned this several times. What happens there? There's a construction of a temple, of a tabernacle, as it were. God takes his rest there in the place on the seventh day. And then there is humanity, Adam and Eve in Genesis 3, attempting to go a different direction. Remember what the tempter told Eve: you're going to eat and you're going to be as God. Here the people, and so back in Genesis 3, it was Adam and Eve wanted to substitute themselves for God, and then they were exiled from the garden, from that temple, that sacred space, that portal, meeting place of heaven and earth. Now in Exodus 33, the people have decided to take up another god, just like Adam and Eve did when they ate to become as God. and they're going to become disconnected between this portal, this meeting place of heaven and earth. Not entirely removed. The tabernacle still serves a vital and vibrant liturgical function, but it's not going to be as close to the people, Here's this imagery. God has been hurt, and now that God has been hurt, he doesn't want to be quite vulnerable to the people. He doesn't want to get hurt again. I suppose more so really what it is the people are learning what's sacred and how to treat the sacred. All the attention that was given to this tabernacle that we discussed, I often asserted and reinserted and reinforced that it was about them understanding what is sacred, and they still didn't get it, and so hopefully they're going to get it now, right? The people, they are going to worship in verse number 10. God, verse number 11, would speak to Moses face to face, it says, like any person, as a friend would, and Moses would return to the camp and inform the people. And then in verse number 12, here is Moses advocating for, expressing gratitude for his unique relationship to God, asking for ongoing help, ongoing grace, and all of that with God's people. Remember, here this is a juxtaposition, I think, between the good-natured ambassadorship of Moses between God and the people, and the ill-accomplished feat of ambassadorship between Aaron, Moses' brother, and the people and God by encouraging them, being complicit with them, and creating the alternative God. And at the conclusion of this chapter, Moses asks God, show me your glory. Moses has already seen a tremendous quantity of God, it seems, but now he wants to see a greater quality, I suppose, something unique. God has been keeping himself from the people now. They're not able to, the priests can only go into that Holy of Holies once a year, where God is supposed to dwell. Moses wants something distinct. God says, I'm going to get very close to you. However, I can't let you see my face. There's going to be limits even for you, Moses. Again, the people have to learn what is sacred, and so the leader has to know what's sacred and what's distinguishable. But I'm going to get very close to you. I'm going to carve you out a place in the rock. My glory is going to pass by, and you will see my back, but you will not see my face. And so this leaves us at an interesting place, in fact, where the next chapter, as we get into tomorrow, closing this next to the last week of this reading, we'll pick up from here. All right, thank you for joining with me, everyone. I'll meet you again tomorrow.